Welcome to this episode of Social Biz, where we talk social marketing and how to harness the power of social media for your business. I'm Jacob Bodner. This is the video show at Red Time Media where we discuss how all the things that we basically discuss on the other shows, how you implement that to make money and to gain customers on your business. That is hence the name Social Biz. Now, I wanted to start this show off, and one of the things I want to do on the show is take the time to kind of go over some current event stories or how certain businesses are using social media in real life and how it might be succeeding and how it might be failing, and kind of take a look at what works and what doesn't work and what lessons we can derive from those particular case studies. The one I want to talk about today happened very recently, and it actually happens in McDonald's. And a lot of times, the interesting thing about social media is it's not an easy thing to get, and you realize that because you have a lot of big corporations like McDonald's that really screw up some things on social media. The latest from McDonald's was they had started a hashtag. They had done a promoted hashtag. If you don't know what that is, essentially on Twitter now you can promote tweets, you can promote accounts, and you can promote hashtags. So you can basically pay Twitter money to have your hashtag show up in the trending list, pay them money to show up in the who to follow list for certain users, for your username, or pay them to have a certain tweet stand out in someone's timeline. So those are a couple ways, if you got a lot of cash to throw around, to make an impact on Twitter. Something McDonald's did was they were going to start a hashtag called MCD Stories, Mickey D Stories or McD Stories or whatever. And the idea was they were going to have people share McDonald's stories and how McDonald's impacts their lives or something along those lines. The first tweet that went out had to do with a potato farmer and a potato supplier, and it linked to a video about the farmer and how when he made something with pride, people could taste it and it made him feel good and all these different things. We have seen a lot lately of hashtags going awry. In political circles, we see politicians on either side of the aisle try to start hashtags, and the other side hijacks it and kind of makes a mockery of it. Same thing happened here with McDonald's hashtag. The hashtag basically ended up becoming a bunch of jokes for McDonald's and people just poking fun at McDonald's, talking about stoners, talking about heart attacks, and making jokes about McDonald's as a brand entirely. So what can we learn from this? Now, the first thing we have to learn is that not every hashtag campaign is going to be successful, and not everything that you want to do is really meant for a hashtag campaign. Something like this, let's take this at face value. What exactly was McDonald's trying to do here? They were trying to get a list of stories from people about how McDonald's shaped their lives or influenced them, or how maybe people who make things for McDonald's take pride in it, different things like that. Obviously an emotional way to go after it, obviously trying to get people to say positive things about the brand, and it failed immensely. How could have they gone about it differently? I think it would have been much more effective had they done it on YouTube and had they done it as video responses to the video. A couple reasons for that. Number one, it's more personal. You can see the person sitting there, you can see emotion, you have the body language, it's not just text. And number two, I don't think a hashtag was great for this, or Twitter was really great for this, because you're trying to evoke emotional stories out of people and positive stories out of people. The problem with the first part of that is you're limited to 140 characters on Twitter. Not a lot of storytelling you can do with that. So it's more difficult to really kind of go through a whole story. The second thing is it's very hard to manage your brand on Twitter. And it can be easy. It's very easy to diffuse sour situations if you do it correctly. But if you actually tell people to start talking about you, it's very difficult for that to keep that under control. You don't have any control over what's posted in this particular hashtag. You can't delete tweets. You can't get rid of them. And I'm not saying that companies should go through and do that with Facebook or the like, but you can certainly on a YouTube video pick which video reviews show up. You can promote certain video reviews. You can delete video reviews from a video. You can delete comments from a video. It's a lot easier to manage that response. This on Twitter is a free-for-all, which is good and bad. It's good because it's open. You're going to get honesty. It's bad because you're trying to evoke people saying something positive about you, and it's been hijacked by people saying something negative about you. So the lesson learned with that is pick the right social medium if you're going to do something like this, which brings me to kind of my topic today, which is essentially how do you go outside of the realms of Facebook and Twitter? How do you find what social landscape or social medium is good for any particular campaign you're going to do? I want to focus on, last week I talked about how you can jump onto the social media bandwagon and pretty much just focused on Facebook and Twitter. Today I want to talk about how do you know when to go outside of that safety circle of Facebook and Twitter How do you find that social media, and how do you know if it's right for you? First thing I would say is talk to your audience. Social media is all about being social, all about conversing with them. Find out where they are. If you're going to go into the social media landscape, you're obviously going to be on Twitter and Facebook. That would be a practical, obvious first step. Talk to the people that you've accumulated on those two mediums and find out where else they're at. Are they on Pinterest? Are they on Path? Are they on Foursquare? Are they on YouTube, Google+, anything? And go where they are. Number two, this one goes back to the McDonald's thing. Understand the purpose of each social media and then use it correctly to fill some kind of marketing void you have. If I was McDonald's, I sit down and I say, I want to evoke stories out of people, I don't think Twitter. It's limited, it's small, it's hard to manage. I think either Facebook, I think YouTube, maybe even Flickr. You can do some creative things there. Twitter's a great way to do that if you're going to evoke short responses, but when you're trying to evoke long stories, it's not really the greatest idea. So you have to know what each social media does, and then when you have a strategy or you have a social media idea to push marketing-wise, you can sit down and say, what social media platform addresses this need? What social media platform would be best for this? Number three, be creative with how you use the new network. Because these networks are new, there's not a lot of stereotypical assumed roles for businesses on them. Pinterest is a relatively new network. It's exploding right now. There's not a whole lot of brands flocking to Pinterest like we saw flocking to Google+. And Pinterest is kind of an interesting thing. It's kind of a blank slate for a lot of brands and businesses. Be creative with it. Use it in a unique way because you're going to gain a lot of attention. There's no particular norm for how a brand uses these new social mediums, so think outside the box. However, I caution in number 4 to be cautious, because you don't want to go on every social media imaginable, and that actually rolls into number 5. Don't feel like you have to be present everywhere. It is certainly in your best interest to be on as many social medias as you can be, assuming that you have an audience there. But if you're a local business and you have a smaller audience, let's say you're a local business to a particular city, it's not going to be in your best interest to be on a bunch of social networks outside of Facebook and Twitter. You may want to go into YouTube, you may want to go into Flickr, but you may not want to go into the obscure ones like Pinterest where the numbers are a lot smaller. If you're a global brand, there's a better chance your audience is going to be there, so it makes more sense. Don't feel like you have to be everywhere to be successful or to manage yourself properly. You can be on a limited number of networks. Go where your audience is. That's the best idea. Furthermore, you don't want to go on a network where people aren't, because then you're just wasting time and you're wasting resources basically trying to talk to people, trying to engage with people who just simply aren't there. Google Plus is seeing that right now, and if you're a brand, you may want to look at Pinterest because Pinterest is exploding. But remember, Pinterest is mostly occupied by women, and it's usually women who are between the ages of 18 to 34, maybe even a little higher, you get up to 49. If you're not going after that demographic, don't go on Pinterest. Don't feel like you have to go on Pinterest just because there's a lot of people there. Look at the demographics and find out if your demographic is on that social media. If they are, check it out. That does it for this episode of Social Biz. If you have anything to add to this particular conversation, if you have any particular case study, if you're a business on a social media that you found was fruitful, or a social media out there that's kind of unknown that you think could be a good option for some businesses to jump on, let me know in the comment section below, or you can tweet me at Jacob Bodner and let me know there, or a video response would work as well, and that would be cool. Links to the McDonald's story are in the show notes, so you can check that out and learn from their mistakes. That's one of the big things with social media, learning from people's mistakes. Have a fantastic week.